Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing your daily Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 8th season for the Walking Dead television series and issue 168 for the Walking Dead comic book series. In this one, first, we're going to do a character spotlight for Andrea. And major spoiler warning for anyone who's behind on the Walking Dead comic book series and has not read up to issue 167 yet, which is, like I said, major spoilers. The following contains spoilers. The final issue for Andrea in the Walking Dead. So this one, I feel like enough time has kind of settled now. I feel like enough time has passed since the release of the issue that I decided that, you know what, we should do a character spotlight for Andrea because, I mean, she is like our A-list female in the Walking Dead comic book series. In the TV series, sure, it's Michonne, but in the Walking Dead comic book series, it was always Andrea, I want to say. She arrived in the series first, so she was there before Michonne. She arrived in issue number 2, so I actually had to look it up because I forgot how far back she actually went. So she's like Glenn back. Like she's you know, the very beginning pretty much. You know, the second issue, the first volume, the first trade, Days Gone By. You know, just old school OG Walking Dead character for sure. So really crazy issue was issue 167. If you guys have not seen my review of it yet, you definitely want to watch it. It's probably the saddest issue we've ever had. If it's not the saddest, it's one of them. I really actually think it is the saddest. So that's her in the series from issue 2 to 167. So that's 100. Now she might not be in absolutely every single issue, but she's alive during, you know, 166 issues there, minus issue number 1. So really surprised by this one. You guys who've been watching the reviews, those of you guys who've been, you know, commenting and everything, a lot of us thought, I wasn't the only one, that, you know, it wouldn't have ended up being a bite, and there's no way that Kirk would kill her off in such a fashion. I mean, being that she is, like, for example, it says right here for her description, Andrea is a main character first encountered in issue 2 of the Image Comics The Walking Dead, and is the former tritagonist of the series. Andrea is the older sister of Amy, and a tough and very skilled woman, being very talented with firearms and becoming one of the group's key defenders because of that. Once the Atlanta camp fell and she was faced with the death of her sister, she formed a relationship with Dale, who both later adopted Ben and Billy after their father's death. After the deaths of Ben and Billy and then later Dale, she mourned and moved on, forming a romantic relationship eventually with Rick and becoming a mother figure to his son Carl. So to Carl. Really, really sad to see her finally get killed off, but I will say that I really did enjoy her time as a character in The Walking Dead. She is one of my absolute favorite characters in the series regardless. Here's the comic book figure version of a really, really cool figure. I really like this one. And it's interesting with her how different they went with her in the TV series. A lot of people really, really hated what they did with her in season 2 and 3, having her go with not only Shane, but Shane and the governor. I think it makes sense at that point that you can't really have her come back. In the comics, her just being with Dale, and we didn't really get to see too much as far as like the romantics of that because Dale is older than her, but I mean they were together, and you know they were together, but it, you know, wasn't kind of something that was shown all that much or that often. So, you know, we kind of like understood it or got it, even though their ages seemed to be a bit distant or a bit far apart. Some of my favorite parts with her in the whole series, at the end of volume 15, we find ourselves. It's one of my absolute favorite ones because it kind of came unexpected, which is, you have Rick who says, can't you see it? There's nothing left in me. Not anymore. I feel like I died a long time ago. Right here. So really nice splash page. I really like the way it, you know, it kind of reveals it like this. Really cool. And then she says, have you forgotten? Death doesn't affect people quite like it used to. Don't you think it's about time you came back to life? And there it is right there, and then you see her and Rick, and that's the first time they get together. So the TV series, they swapped it out kind of for Michonne, and it's not exactly the same as it was in the comics, but in the comics, I really like to see, you know, Andrea and Rick together there because they're both such strong survivors. They had both lost so much. I mean, Andrea had basically lost everybody. If you look at the list there, her sister, Dale, and then Ben and Billy, and, you know, the others there in the group that she had some bonds with, but it wasn't it didn't seem to be as much as, of course, you know, Dale and her sister and everybody. So really, really cool character. Kind of sad that in the TV series she didn't kind of became the same way. They gave that to Michonne instead, which is okay. But, you know, I am kind of saddened too, though, because it gave the comics had something different than the TV series when Andrea was there. And, you know, for people who hadn't read it, they kind of would be like, what? You know, Andrea's with Rick, how does this work? This kind of thing. It really was something that separated both series from each other in both versions. You had the TV series version, where she was one character. The comic series version, different chain of events, and a lot different of a character, I want to say. Especially with the sniper skills and everything, and, you know, being a really strong leader, which you could maybe argue that you know, she was in the TV series as well too. But I don't know, not really, not so much. Or we didn't get to see it that much because of, you know, what happened with the governor and everything like that. So very sad to see that she's killed off in the series. Going to miss reading, you know, her. Going to miss seeing her with Rick and the others and how that all works. And we'll have to see eventually if it's going to sync up, and we'll see Michonne kind of be with Rick and have it be the same in both. But it was kind of cool to have that, you know, main storyline, main character be different in the TV series than it was in the comics, to give us two different versions. Now that she's been killed off, it kind of makes me think like, you know, okay, maybe it won't be that different after all, because, you know, Andrea in the TV series was killed in season 3, and it also makes me wonder, like, did the fact that she was killed off in the TV series early have an effect on the comic series? So the reverse of what an adaptation usually would be, where in a usual adaptation you'd have, like, you know, a novel or comic, then it gets translated into TV. Are we seeing some kind of reflection back the other way? Are we seeing that because it happened there, that maybe Kirkman decided, you know, that he would kill her off to have it kind of mesh closer with the TV series? I don't know. Maybe he kind of decided he needed to do that in order to keep it fresh, keep the series, you know, popping, and so people didn't get that sense that they can't kill off certain characters because they're safe. Because she's definitely one of the characters, if you would ask me, that I would have thought would have been safe out of everybody from the comics, for sure. Let me know what some of your guys' favorite parts were with her in the series. I also liked a lot when they were at the prison and they had some of the prison battles going, where she would show up with the sniper rifle, which the figures got here on the back, and you know, just start like going after them and start taking out people and taking out the people from Woodbury and the troops and that. It was just wicked cool to see her, like, you know, get out there with a sniper rifle and just start defending the others, and you know, be super strong in that way. It was really cool to see. Write in the comments below how you guys feel about her being killed off, and if you think it was the right decision or not, and also maybe the TV series version versus the comic series version, and, you know, which one you like better, which one you prefer. Even though they're both dead at this time, I definitely would say I prefer the comic series version way more than the TV series version, what they did with her. And it's kind of sad that they couldn't kind of, or he decided not to kind of keep her alive permanently, to have that be a main difference between the two series. We'll do some of your guys' Q&A questions for today to round out the video and everything. Ace Trainer chayce says, "Hey Trev, do you ever get annoyed by the constant negativity about Season 7 in the comments section or past seasons? I understand not liking it, but why constantly say how bad it is? No need after saying it once." Yeah, it's true, but I mean, there are a lot of people that were disappointed with Season 7. I've seen a lot of change this season with regards to you know, making Walking Dead videos and how people even respond to them here on YouTube. People are not as, you know, as a whole, it seems to me, as hyped for Walking Dead as they have been in the past before. I think it's just the age of the show. The show's been out for a long time. They're producing a lot. They're really maximizing it. There's Fear as well now too, and so, you know, AMC has really pumped out Walking Dead content for us. The comics are always there. The comics are always strong too, and so, you know, things get hot for a while and sometimes they fizzle out. So for a lot of people, you know, 7 years later, you know, it depends. Like, are they as interested in the series now as they were 4 or 5 or 6 years ago? People change, interests change. Sometimes things get old, so, you know, and they want to, you know, check out new series, or they're not as interested in something as they were. This season with Walking Dead, we just saw a lot of that. I want to say maybe it wasn't that great in the first half, and you know, it wasn't as good as it usually is. But you're going to have times like that throughout the show. I'm sure there's going to be another season or two like this down the road where a lot of people don't like it as much. And at the end of the day, it's just a TV series, and, you know, they can't always have everything go, and not everything's going to work out perfectly, and the story is not always going to be at a peak climax all the time. You need those ups and downs in order to feed up to set up, something like we saw in the finale of season 7 and also season 8 with All Out War. So I personally don't really get too annoyed by it. I still love The Walking Dead. I'm going to make as many videos as I can for you guys, even if it's not on a daily basis. Just keep producing, keep doing what I'm doing, and I hope you guys appreciate that. If you do, write in the comments below if you want to see the continued videos. It's just part of how it goes. People get into things. Sometimes they're not as interested as they once were. It's not their fault. It's just how it goes. Sometimes things get old. I used to love watching sports. I don't really do it anymore. So, things get old for people. Or UFC. I used to love watching UFC. Nowadays, I don't really watch UFC too much anymore. A lot of my favorite fighters are retired, or they're not really doing well nowadays because they're kind of older. So, interest change. It's just what it is. Jerry Davis says, Q&A question for you, Trev. It's established the Saviors kill one person out of every group when they make contact. They did it at the hilltop. They did it for the survivors, and they possibly could have done it also with the Kingdom. We don't know for sure. Why did people blame Rick for the events of the season 7 premiere? It's as if he hadn't attacked the outpost, they'd still have Abraham and Glenn alive, which is nonsense. They wouldn't have. And Jerry, you're absolutely right. That's the thing when you're the top guy. You're going to get all the heat for everything that happens, right? You're going to get a lot of heat because you make the calls, you make the decisions, and if something goes wrong, everybody's going to complain at you, right? The people under you are going to complain and say, "Oh well, it's Rick's fault," whatever, that Abraham and Glenn got killed, and they might not even realize that the people they're dealing with would have killed probably at least one or two or a few of them anyway, as with what happened with Spencer and Olivia in the mid-season finale. Negan kind of just does whatever he wants, right? So it's what it is, and at least Rick and the others gave it a shot and saw what they could do. Morthis SFG says, Trev, why don't you watch or review The Flash? So that's one that I've been asked a few times. The Flash, Arrow, these kind of shows. I've done a few reviews for them throughout the years. I mainly review like the premiere, and then that's pretty much it for those type of series. They produce a lot of episodes, sometimes 22 episodes a season. It's pretty hard for me to commit to it. I don't have that much time making Walking Dead videos for you guys every day, which I have a lot more passion for than shows like Arrow and Flash. Not that they're bad shows. I love DC. You guys see my figure collection of DC. I got tons of DC stuff. Tons of Flash figures and Arrow figures, and yeah. But I'm just not that into those shows. It's kind of the way the shows are produced. They could be produced in a way where I could get into it if it was more kind of for, I guess, an adult audience, or if it was more believable. A lot of times when I watch those shows, I see the acting and stuff, and it just totally takes me out of it 100%. I'm like, wow, I'm not feeling this at all. Like, I know I'm watching a show. I want to get into a series that is immersive, where when I see it, I forget sometimes that I'm watching a show. With Walking Dead, that happens all the time. It happens to other people too. Anytime you see someone cry when they're reacting or watching a show. Anytime you see someone really get into it and worry or not sure what's going to happen next. That's an immersive experience. Shows like that, I can kind of watch, but I can't get into it. I always know I'm watching a show, and I don't want to feel like I'm watching a show. I want to feel like I can get into something and take it seriously, and I can't take those shows seriously. Or if I can't take it seriously, something like Z Nation or Last Man on Earth, I can just have fun watching it, knowing it's a show, but understanding that it's just supposed to be lighthearted and fun. I hate shows that are tryhards where they try to do something and it just doesn't work. I don't know, maybe it's my age or something. I did used to like Smallville, and I like Gotham, so there's one. But for Flash and Arrow, they never really grabbed me that much. I always kind of felt like I was watching, something that was just not that well done. So it's what it is. I've just never got that into it. Maybe I give it another try. I've seen some cool stuff with it, like there's a King Shark and stuff in Flash, which is cool. So some of the graphics and stuff can be cool. But aside from that, the teenage lovey-dovey stuff and all that, it's kind of like, I don't know. We'll do a couple more. Eric Kosovo says, hey Trev, Q&A question for you. Do you think they will add into Season 8 a battle at the Kingdom? And do you think the Oceanside will come in a second day to help finish the war? Okay, well, let's start with the first part of your question, and we'll kind of keep it to that, at least to start. So do you think they will add into Season 8 a Battle of the Kingdom? So I do think we should see some kind of Battle of the Kingdom, definitely with Gavin's group. We got to see Jared, get his comeuppance. We owe him one, so we got to get him. So yeah, there should be at least an episode, maybe 2, maybe even 3. Of course, 16 episodes, so they could put in a few there. Focused on the Kingdom group, maybe not all at the Kingdom, but focused on Ezekiel and the others from their perspective. And personally, I would be fine with that because I like seeing Morgan, I like seeing Carol, and Ezekiel's wicked cool, and Jerry and the others. I like the group. I think it's a cool group, and I'll watch it and enjoy it for sure. Why not? The other part, the ocean side. So I'll save that probably for another video. I think we'll see the ocean side this season, and we'll get into that another time. So we'll keep it there. Our last one will be from King Ezekiel, who says, Q&A, Trev, do you think I will survive all-out war? So I think Ezekiel will survive this season. I think he'll survive Season 8, yeah. I think he'll survive for a while. I mean, he kind of just did get here, right? Like, he hasn't been here that long. Plus, we could see some kind of relationship maybe with him and Carol, something like that. It looks like they're starting to set up. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I would want to see Ezekiel survive the season, and I think he will. That'll be it for today's video, guys. You guys can write your comments below. Let me know what you think. Some of your favorite parts from Andrea in the series. Maybe how you feel about Andrea TV series versus comics. Let me know what you guys think about it. This is the video to do it in, and we'll probably let it be after that. Pretty much, major character death, really crazy. Still kind of getting used to it. After so many years of reading and reviewing and talking about the character. Pretty crazy stuff. So write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share, favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.